let's start. So first of all, thanks for joining me in this session. So today I want to tell you a little story, okay? A story about a programmer like you that starts by himself working on a project, on an idea, and eventually creates a technology organization of more than 100 people, okay? And the learnings in this journey are based on things I learned in the last 20 years by working for big companies, small companies, startups, and by founding also companies by myself as a first-time founders. Okay, so let's start. The first chapter is a programmer and his idea. Okay, so say you have this amazing idea, you and maybe another co-founder that is more about business, so you are the only programmer, and you have this amazing idea and you want to make it real, okay? Create a company out of it. And this first phase, when you are alone, most of the time probably, it's good and bad. Being alone is good and bad. It has its pros and cons, okay? So what you should do in this first phase? First of all, this is probably the only time in the whole story where you are alone, working on technology, realizing your idea. You don't have to discuss with anybody about your choices. You don't have to argue about technologies to use. So you should have fun doing what you want, doing the best for your idea. The second thing you should do is experiment. You will not start with the best solution right away. So try different solutions, try different way of approaching the problem, okay? And don't discourage yourself if you don't find the right solution right away. And learn how to manage your time, how to work, how to structure your time, because it will be easy to lose focus at the beginning. And most importantly, you will need help, because you cannot do everything alone at the beginning. So ask for help. Ask to friends, ex-colleagues, whoever wants to give you a hand. In this first phase, even a little help is gold for you. Okay, so anybody that wants to help you, accept the help. Okay, and this is also a good chance to start learning how to explain what you're doing to other people, because you have everything in your mind, in your brain, but you will need to learn to express your idea to other people. Especially, this will be useful for later when you need to bring more people in. Okay. Things to be aware of. So you had this amazing idea, you cannot sleep because you want to realizing it, okay? So you dedicate all your time, all your energy, but you shouldn't burn yourself out, because the journey will be very long. It will require a lot of energy, especially later. So try to pace yourself, find the time to relax and to take back the energy that you gave. Especially this first phase is going to be a little crazy, because you will grow from times where you think you are like kind of a god, that you know the best idea in the world and you can do it, to other times where you don't know what you're doing and you feel depressed. So it's important to pace in this phase, okay? And try to not lose focus, meaning that it's important to experiment and to learn, but things that brings you closer to your objective, to realizing your ideas. So this is not the time to try the latest language or framework that you saw on Hacker News. That's something for later, okay? This is a moment where you have to use your know-how, your knowledge, and experiment solutions, not technologies, okay? So try not to lose focus. What are the tools in this first phase? Things that you probably already have: a laptop, pen and paper to take notes, energy drinks, coffee, whatever gives you energy, and headphones to keep you focused, okay? A good book to read for this phase is Getting Things Done, that helps you understand how to structure your time and make the most out of it, because you don't have much time and limited energy. So you better learn how to use best your time, okay? So if you don't go crazy in this first phase, probably you, by talking to your friends and asking for help, you may be so lucky that you find a couple of friends that get so excited about your idea that wants to join you, okay, in building it. So this is getting interesting because first of all, it's even more exciting because it's not you alone that believe in the idea. It's also other people. So that means that you're not crazy. So there's other people that actually believe in what you're doing. And also, since you're not alone anymore, there will be more new dynamics in the team that arise, okay? And so the pizza team here is a definition that comes from Amazon in the US. It means that this is a team that can be fed with a pizza. Obviously a US pizza like this, not an Italian pizza. So this is like a pizza team. So things to do in this phase. So you have new people helping you, so you need to start structuring your work, setting milestones, start planning what to do, because you cannot just tell all the time the other 2 or 3 people what to do. Okay, so you need to start planning and download what you have in your head to a structured plan. Okay, and you need to start to define processes. So there will be a lot of chaos initially. People that know what to do and they want to do it right away, but you need to start defining, okay, what should I do when I want to deploy something? What should I do when I want to create a new application module? Where is the documentation? So all the things that needs to be done, you better start writing it down, because it will be useful later when other people join the team, okay? And also makes them very clear when you write them down. Actually, write things down is very important, because in this phase, people may come and go often. So maybe your friends that said that wanted to help you, he cannot anymore, so he may come and go. So the process that he has in his mind needs to be written down before he leaves. Okay, so it's very important to start writing things down. Okay. Things to be aware of, expectations. When people start joining you, you will have expectation towards them and they will have expectation towards you. So to avoid mistakes that can break friendships or cause problems later, you need to make it clear what you expect from people that help you, and they have to make it clear to you how much time they can dedicate you, if they actually decided to do this, or they're just trying to do this. So this helps you understand what to expect from them, okay? And if you can, you should formalize the relationship, okay? Because if the project goes on and becomes big, if the initial relationship wasn't well formalized, it can cause problems, okay? And since people probably will come and go initially, friends that say they can help you and they don't, then they go. So don't take this personally, because it's not because of you. It's probably they thought they could help you, but they didn't because they have a family or whatever. So it's not a time to take things personally, okay? Just take the help as it comes and be happy about it. Another things to avoid in this phase is specialists. So you're not yet at a size of the project where you can afford to have somebody that works just on icons. So you need somebody that can, people that can solve problems, that are flexible, because your target, your idea probably will change a lot initially. So you need people that can quickly move from front end to back end to do some graphics. So you need a lot of flexibility initially. So avoid trying to involve people that say, no, I just do back end, I don't do front end stuff, or I just do icons. Okay, you don't need these people at this time. Okay. And also avoid cargo cult, so avoid going for a technology because your friend is a fan of it. So you should use what you know and use the right tool for the job, because if your friend leaves, you will be stuck with a technology that you don't know, okay? So be very practical and pragmatic about this, okay? Tools, usual GitHub, Bitbucket, whatever, start tracking code, documentation, processes, everything should go in Bitbucket or GitHub. You can use these tools also as collaboration tools to discuss about processes or documentation, okay? It's not just about code. You can put everything in it, and you can start tracking the evolution of your organization through Bitbucket or, or GitHub. So anything about code, processes, decisions, roles, whatever, should go there, okay? Start to use a calendar to structure your time, to structure how much time you want to dedicate to code, to talk to people, to plan, to think about the milestones. So you need to start structuring your time, okay? Or else you will be sacked in just coding, and you will not dedicate time to other things, okay? You need to allocate your time. Start planning, sharing milestone tasks with the rest of the team. So use the tool that you like, and pizza and beer to spend weekends and nights with your friends coding. A nice book to read for this phase is Rework by the founder of 37 Signals, and they describe very practically how to start a company with very few resources, how to structure a small organization, how to structure your work. Okay, it's very practical and full of a lot of tips. So now you have involved your friends. The idea is becoming real. You started writing a lot of code, and the team grows. And you probably need to involve now people that you don't know. I mean, your friends are over, your colleagues are over. You need to start hiring people that you don't know directly. Maybe they're friends of your friends or friends of your colleagues, okay? So there will be new dynamics and new problems. Mostly since those people, you don't know them, your focus will be in keeping everybody aligned in terms of culture, values, and way of working. Okay, so the first tip is define your values, meaning what the people of your team believe in. Okay, so what do you think is important? Not just you, but everybody in your team. What is the people that will join the team, they will look for an identity of the team. Every team has a kind of identity, okay? So you need to start defining that, because that will be useful when you hire people. And when you hire new people, you want to test against these values, okay? If you believe in something, you don't want to hire people that don't believe in that thing or believe in the opposite thing, okay? So it's very important to start defining the values. Again, when you hire generalists. Still, you don't need people that are specialized. Hire people that want to learn, that want to expand their comfort zone doing other things, okay? And so now that the team grows and you don't know each person, you didn't know them before, and maybe there will happen dynamics that you cannot control directly, so it's a good time to start doing one-on-ones with everybody. One-on-ones are like 30 minutes meetings that you do with every member of your team. You can do that weekly. I suggest doing that weekly initially, or bi-weekly, or monthly later. And this is not about asking them what they're doing. Okay, it's not a status update. This is your radar for the team to understand if there are issues arising that you need to take care of before they become problems, okay? So you should let them talk. talk about their feelings, what they think you're doing, if they believe in still believe in what you're doing, if they think you are not doing things that you should, this kind of things. Okay, this is basically your radar. Okay, and listen, really listen. Okay, and also you should start doing code reviews. So code reviews are not just for catching bugs. Code reviews are a great way to communicate, okay, to share styles of coding, to make people learn from other people, okay. You will have, probably you have in your team senior developers and more junior developers, so by asking the junior developers to code review the senior developers, they will learn from them, okay? And also, you should ask people that don't know that specific technology to review that code, because if you know already the technology, you assume a lot of things, okay? But the code needs to be written also for people that don't know that technology, because they may join the company later. So having people that don't know the technology to review some code may help create more comments, more descriptive comments, structure the code in a way that anybody can understand what it does. So it's very important. And also create information flow between the team. So if you ask people in the front end to code review the back end, they will know what's going on in the back end, okay? And they will work together. Through water. So things to be beware now of. Conways Law. So Conways Law states that, it's like kind of fun but true, that the software that the technology organization creates reflects the structure and the social boundaries of the organization. Okay, what does it mean? It means that now as the team grows and there will be dynamics between people in the company, in the team, those dynamics will influence how the technology, how the software will be built. Okay, and the opposite is true too. So you should start thinking about people and technology, not just about technology. Okay, because that is something that you have to keep in mind for this stage onwards. Practically, what does it mean? It means that, for instance, if you have a monolithic application and you have 3 teams working all together on this monolithic application, you will probably have a lot of conflicts. People trying to fix this, to change the same code or going in different directions. So they will probably step on each other's toes a lot. So to avoid that, you can create a microservices infrastructure where everything can work independently. So this is just one way these two things are linked together. So you start thinking about this. And as you hire more people, try to avoid the monoculture. So you need to push for diversity when you hire people. You should hire people from different backgrounds, different companies, maybe big and small, different nationalities if you can, different genders. So more diverse is your team, and more different perspectives you will have on the problems, and easier will be to find a solution. Okay, if you have 10 people thinking all the same, using the same technology, it will be much harder to find innovation in your company. Okay, and also this is a time for you to start doing paperwork and is your homework, because people will join and they expect to be paid or they expect to have a contract. So if you forget about it because you had to fix a bug or whatever, they may lose trust in you. Okay, it's important to do the paperwork. Okay, because people, when they join, they want to have to be taken care of. Okay. And also, since you have people that you didn't know before joining, maybe leaving, so start giving some structure on how you give credentials to people, how you give them access to servers or tools. So take care of that, okay? Not just put a post-it on the wall with the passwords and that's it, okay? So good tools to have: Google Docs. So initially you may have put all the documentation in GitHub, but now as the organization grows, so probably there are other people also in the company that are not technical that they want to contribute or have access to this documentation. So with Google Docs, you lower the barrier of entry and contribution to documentation, okay? A team handbook, this is basically a kind of manual for your team where you put 90% of how do I questions, okay? And you should start as soon as possible writing it down, because as people join, they will have a lot of questions, okay? Also, you can put there the onboarding process, okay? When there's new member of the team, what accounts we need to create for him, what system we need to give access to, how often we do sprint planning, what tools we use, everything goes in it, okay? If you want to be inspired, GitLabs, they have a public team handbook that is very, very well done. They put there the values, their mission, their strategy. Anybody can contribute, can read, so it's very nice. Another great tool is email transparency that was made popular by Stripe. And it's basically creating internal mailing lists that you use. You put in carbon copy this mailing list every time you send an email internally, even to a person or externally to a customer, to a client. So this basically creates a kind of history of discussions and things that the team discussed about, did, etc. And it's very important for people that join afterwards, because say they join a team that is working on a project and they want to know what happened before. They can just go to the history of this mailing list and see all the discussions, and if they have questions, they ask, okay? If you don't do that, you will have people joining, they don't know anything, and you will have to spend a week explaining them what you did and what you discussed about in the previous months, and maybe you forget something, okay? Slack, because the team grows, you're probably not going to be in the same room all the time. And I also like this Howdy bot is a Slack bot that can be programmed to ask questions and generate reports automatically. So it's very useful for daily stand-ups or reporting, okay? And to manage password, obviously tools like 1Password are great. A nice book to read here is Work Rules. It was written by Google Senior VP of People Operations, and it's very practical. It explains how Google does a lot of things, what they learned, what works, what doesn't, in terms of operations, culture, organization, recruiting, learning, everything. It's very, very nice to read. There's a lot of learning. Okay, so if you survive the last step, you're like probably 1% of all the startups or the companies that get created. And in Silicon Valley, they used to say that you are probably on a rocket ship. You have to brace because the growth will probably be explosive. And as you noticed, if you're lucky, companies usually grow exponentially. You go from 1 to 2, 3, from 2, 3 to 10, from 10 to 100, usually, okay? Or from 10 to 0 if the company fails, obviously. So in this phase, you will probably need to change yourself to grow as a person, personally and professionally, because not many people are prepared for this kind of growth and this kind of change in an organization. So the first thing you will learn is that is not going to be about technology anymore. So it's mostly about people. All the bugs, the issue, the problems with the technology will be caused by people, by bad dynamics, team not working well together, the wrong structure for your organization. So it's not anymore about the choice of technology, but it's more about how well you structure your organization and how good the people feel, okay? So you need to take care of the people first, and the technology will be fine most of the time. And since probably during this growth, probably a few years has passed, maybe 1 or 2, and people that joined at the beginning, they will start to think, okay, what am I doing here? What's next for me? So you will start to think about growth path, career path, define a path that people can follow, and they can see, so they can see their future in the organization, okay? Because if you don't, people will don't know what they're doing there, and probably they will leave, okay? So you want to keep them. And as the organization is so big now that you cannot have one-on-ones with everybody, you need some moments where you can talk to everybody, and anybody can talk to you. So it's nice to have these all hands that you basically meet with everybody in a single room and share wins, learnings, accomplishments, and also have anybody ask questions to you, okay, about what the organization is doing, problems, etc. So it's very important to have these all hands weekly, I would say. And so as you start to do things that you never did before, you will have a lot of questions, and there is no school for a CTO or for a leader. So try to, if you are in big cities, try to find other CTOs, other technology leaders that have gone through the same journey and maybe had the same problems, same doubts. So try to look, usually there are some structured CTO groups that meet periodically, so try to join one of these to share your question and issues. So thing to be aware, so even if the company grows that much, don't delegate the hiring process, because that's the most important thing you want to take care of, okay? Because as I said, the people are first. So people are the most important things. If you hire the wrong people, there's no technology that can save you, okay? The company will crash. The organization will crash. You should keep your values in mind. Avoid hiring people that can hijack your culture, can change it in ways that you don't want, because they can waste the work that you did in the previous years. Also, avoid the forming of information silos, meaning that one part of the organization doesn't know what the others are doing. This is inefficient and dangerous, because there may be a lot of conflict. So try to structure ways of people moving around, or having teams composed of people from different backgrounds, or working on products instead of technology. So it's better to have a team composed of people, of back-end developers and front-end developers and system administrators working on a product, instead of a team made of all back-end developers and another team made of all front-end developers, okay, in this case. And you need to start monitoring the technical debt. At the beginning, wasn't an issue. Maybe now that the organization is bigger, the technology is much more complex. So an issue on one part of the technology may cause a cascade effect and break everything else. So you need to take care and this also. Okay, keep an eye on quality. Tools. So here, if you have say 50 people, the most difficult thing is to keep them aligned on an objective that is the company objective. So there's a framework that is called Objectives and Key Results that Google made popular in the past years. It's a way of keeping everything aligned on a few objectives, okay? Search for on Google, there's a lot of videos that explains how it works. It's actually very easy to implement. Innovation process, so as you grow, it's very important to keep the barrier of innovation low. You don't want to have only a few people having the privilege of creating new projects or deciding what's next, okay? You want to have a process where everybody can propose new projects, new technologies to use, and having a framework where people can get feedback without problems is great. Innovation process is just a word to find the framework that works for you. There are many. There's the RFCs. If you work in Scala, there's a Scala innovation process. Python has Python innovation process. It's a kind of community process where everybody can propose something. So it's something that you should do at this stage. A book that is nice to read at this stage. This is the most cited book on management in Silicon Valley. Will help you understand the dynamics in a big organization and how to motivate people, how to make them happy, and how to avoid big mistakes. So now is a kind of going back to the origins. Because when you create an organization with more than 100 people, the organization kind of lives by itself, okay? It's not just around you. There's too many people. You'll probably start meeting people around that you don't know who they are, you didn't hire. So you start losing a bit the touch. So what you should do here, don't get involved too much in the day-to-day operations, but start to mentor the leaders of the organization, because they are going through the same journey that you went through. So you need to teach them your mistakes, your learnings, help them go through the same journey, okay? And you should step aside and watch what's going on, because people will take responsibility, will take ownership, and you will not be there for them anymore all the time, okay? So there will be the responsibility will be theirs, okay? And you should find a mentor, because probably you will have a kind of identity crisis. You don't know what to do because the people don't need you anymore, probably. So find a mentor, find somebody that went through this phase, an accomplished technology leader that can help you find what's next for you, okay? So don't get involved too much in the operations, but don't lose touch in terms of what the organization is doing. You still want to understand what products get delivered, what technologies get used. So try to keep speaking with people at different levels, okay, to have a feeling of what's going on. And beware of talent leaving at this stage, because it may be an indicator of a problem in your culture, of some bad hire that hijacked your culture. So, or even worse, politics. Okay, so check out what's going on in terms of people joining and leaving, and talk to them. Try to understand if there's some kind of war happening between different teams. So this is something you want to avoid, and you're still in a position that can stop these kind of things from happening. Okay. You just need probably one thing, a personal coach, to help you understand yourself and how to help people, okay, now. And a great book to read now is Exponential Organizations. This is basically, so at the beginning your project was the idea that you had and you wanted to make it real with the software, okay? Now your project is more like your company, okay? There's some things that you can change, refactor, implement in the company that makes it an exponential company, so makes it grow very, very fast. So it's a great read. There's a lot of things in it that can be applied only to big companies, so you can read it whenever you want, but it's more applicable at this stage, okay? So if you ever have the chance to go through this whole step, you should consider yourself lucky, because this is something that very few people in the world can experience. You will be a different person at the end. It's probably like winning a lottery, Okay, and you will have the responsibility also to change the life of people. Okay, for the better probably. So I hope you enjoyed the talk and you got inspired to start your own company. Okay, thanks.